What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the overall markets. I'm also going to talk about some big catalysts for the markets moving forward. But just note that I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Webull link. If you deposit any amounts of money, you're guaranteed 12 free stocks. If you deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 in total. And deposit $25,000 more, and you're guaranteed 75. The offer's in just 3 weeks. Anyways, now let's talk about the market. So far the market's doing a good job at holding up as we're holding this support. We have this gap to fill above on SPY, which does give us some potential for upside, but that depends on if we hold the gap or not, or if we hold support or not, excuse me, and also what we see with the news. So I want to talk first about the news before I break down more details about these charts. One thing worth mentioning is that we have Nvidia's AI Summit that's going on. It's a 3-day event from the 7th through the 9th, and I'm very excited to see what they end up announcing about their products. Right now, the general conferences have been sold out. So very, very cool stuff. There's going to be a lot of discussions at the conference about their AI technologies, accelerated computing, and AI, not to mention how it's going to be very useful for the next wave of AI, sensor processing, cybersecurity, and etc. So very, very cool stuff in my opinion. I think it's going to give them a lot more exposure, especially as they have these workshops, which allows for more employees to come. And we're going to be listening to what they say about their products and the future. So it's very bullish. Can't wait to see what they announce. And it's looking good so far for Nvidia. For news about the broader markets, I just want to say that so far, there's not much coming out. We just have a couple of bill auctions which just came out, and a couple of Fed speakers like Bowman and Kashkari, but everything's very minor for the rest of the day. With that being said, since there's not really much news coming on, what do I see for the market moving forward? SPY has resistance to watch for at 572, and our main support is closer to about the 570.5 area, very close to our 20 EMA. If we break 572, we're looking for this gap fill, which could get us very close to 572.5. And if we fail to break 572, we could just continue to chop around in this range. To turn bearish, you want to see it lose 570.28. If that fails us, we're looking for a dip all the way down to 568. Overall, the chart is holding up very, very nicely. We're holding above our 20 EMA. There's a good chance this will continue to push into the above 572 area just for the time being. So I'm not super bullish or super bearish. I think that for the most part, we've been chopping around. But looking at this chart, it does look like it wants to fill this gap. And we're going to be looking for the 572s very soon, so long as we don't lose 570. So as long as 570 doesn't break, there's a good chance we try to push higher. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. For ES, we are holding above our key supports very nicely. We have resistance to watch for around the 5800 area. If we end up losing 5775, we could be looking for a bigger dip. Now, overall, the 4 hour is doing a good job, especially as we have this imbalance to fill, and the odds are favoring us getting very close to 5800. So we'll see how things end up going from here. But I do think that there's a good chance that SPY and ES hold up. They are favoring upside a little bit more. For Nvidia, we're holding above our 20 EMA very nicely. We have a nice double bottom. And when I zoom out of the chart like this, let me just show you the 4 hour time frame. We're looking bullish. We're looking very bullish. We look like we want to approach the 130 area. So I think Nvidia looks bullish. Might attempt for that 130. If that breaks, we could get closer to 132. But so far, so good from Nvidia. For Bitcoin, we're trying to hold up as well. We're looking for 64,000 as our resistance. If that breaks, we could get very close to about 65,000. If we lose 62,500, we could be dipping, but this is still favoring upside. So I'll be watching to see if we end up breaking that resistance. For other factors out there, we have Tesla. Tesla's dipping right now. We have 244 as our main support. If that fails us, we could be dipping back down to 240, basically 242. And below that, I'd be looking for 240 flat to fill this gap. So I'll be watching to see if Tesla ends up dipping. Still looks a little bit more bearish as we had some bad news about one of their general managers resigning. And also there's been some news about Geico kind of terminating its contract for the Cybertruck. So Geico doesn't want to cover the Cybertruck. It doesn't meet their guidelines and their opinions. So that's been some news. It's not the end of the world, though. I'm sure we're going to be fine regardless of that. If Tesla does lose 244, we could be looking for us to get very close to this gap fill. So I do see a risk of more downside for it. But there's no guarantee it's going to last, as we have the Robotaxi event. The Robotaxi event could be very huge for them on October 10th, this Thursday. So even if we do dip, we'll be watching to see if we bounce later on. For NQ, we're barely at 20,000. If 20,000 holds, this thing will continue to rebound for 20,200. If we lose 20,000, we could be dipping back down to about the 19,800 area. We're holding support, so we could attempt to rebound to higher levels, so we still look pretty good. The QQQ, as long as we hold 484, this could continue to try to fill the gap, pushing for basically 487. If we lose 484, we could be looking for a dip to 482.5, followed by 480. but this is still favoring that wants to rebound a bit. So watch and see if that ends up being the case. For Apple, we're trying to rebound. If we break past 225, we're looking for this gap to fill above around 226. And if we can't hold that, we could just continue to consolidate. To be bearish, you want to lose 223.8. If that fails us, we're looking for a bigger dip to 222. Otherwise, we're just going to consolidate between 223.8 to 225. I think that's most likely what Apple's going to be doing. There's potential for it to try to push to fill the gap, but as of right now, we're consolidating. The IWM looks a little bit weaker. If we don't reclaim 218, we're at risk of coming down to the 216s. If we get back above 218, we could try to fill the gap to 220, but this is favoring downside if we don't once again reclaim our key level. For Coinbase, we're looking at support at 169. If that fails us, we're looking for a dip back down to about 166. If this holds, we could attempt to rebound for 175. Looks a little bit more bearish, guys, so be careful with that. Amazon's dipping as well. We have 180 as our main support. If that fails us, we're looking for 178. If it holds, we could rebound for 183. As of right now, we're kind of dipping a bit, so be careful. For Meta, we have 600 as our resistance. We hit this only to reject. If we don't hold above that, we could continue to dip closer to about the 585 area. So there's a risk of Meta dipping a little bit more just temporarily. Microsoft could also dip lower to about 414. It might just consolidate here. If that fails us, we're looking for 410. As of right now, we're just shuffling around that area. Google is holding up, but we're barely at 167. If that fails us, we're looking for 165. So we'll see how things go. With that being said, that's pretty much it for my video. I just want to say I really appreciate you guys so much for listening. Please have a great day as time goes on. And I still think that SPY is going to continue to shuffle. It could push to fill the gap later on closer to the 572s. But as of right now, we're just barely holding 570. So we have to give this some time to develop. We're going to likely continue to chop around for an extended period of time. And the market was due for some consolidation. So that's what we're going to likely see. So I do have one warning about this. So like if you're holding premiums, especially the short dated ones, the value of your options could decline because of this chop that's going on because the share prices are not really moving. So be careful with that, guys. Premiums may depreciate quite a bit on days like this, so you want to be very mindful of that. So be careful if you're holding too many positions, and be very mindful of that. The VIX is trying to push, but we still have this big gap to fill below on the VIX. Could it be because the market's going to pump higher and eventually cause the VIX to dump? We'll have to just wait and see. But we'll see how things go. The VIX is gapping up, but be very patient at least with this nonetheless. But with that being said, guys, I think that's pretty much it for my video. I'm going to be back in about maybe like 2 to 3 hours for one more update. Hopefully, I'll be able to give you guys one more update before the market closes. But for now, the market's kind of boring, just chopping around, not really doing a whole lot. All right, so enjoy your day, guys. Be very patient and watch your levels carefully. I'll be back in a couple of hours. Until then, have a great day and peace out.